I said you'd get back your personal power from this video series, and I aim to keep that promise. In the last video, we got clear that the only thing that determines results is actions, and the only thing that determines action is our view of life, and that means our view of ourselves, others, and our situation. In the video before last, we looked at some of the views you picked up from dealing with GuruOverwhelm, and we then came up with some new views that could empower you. Well, in this video, I'll be sharing the full details of my new product, the GuruOverwhelm Cure, where I go into a lot more depth on the actionable elements that let you transform your life. We'll also look at the last part of GuruOverwhelm, the Guru Cult Kool-Aid effect, which has control of your life without you even being aware of it. The Guru Cult Kool-Aid effect is where something negative is slipped unsuspectingly into what you bought. It's like someone putting poison in the Kool-Aid, or it's like a guru selling you an information course but then littering it with some principles that just don't work, like the law of attraction and positive thinking, as we learned about in the last video. So in short, this Guru Cult Kool-Aid effect is where you get something negative along with what you thought was supposed to be something that helped you. In this video, we'll cover how marketing messages are designed to make you a passive follower, how you are negatively conditioned to feel overwhelmed and not do anything with what you learn, how to remove the bad from marketing messages and replace them with something that empowers you, negative NLP and how to avoid its effects, and we'll end off with details about my newest product, the GuruOverwhelm Cure, plus a major surprise where I'll actually show you how you can end that financial struggle that you've been dealing with that's been caused by all the information overwhelm, and to finally get your business to the $5,000 a month mark and beyond. And most importantly, I want you to walk away from this video series with a strong sense of yourself again and your natural creative ability to design the life of your dreams. I also want you to be able to put to use all the things that you've learned from previous courses that you've bought and the courses you'll take in the future, and not get stopped by the Kool-Aid effect from some of the mental poison that slips into these courses that you've taken so far. If you didn't know that positive thinking really had nothing to do with creating results, then that's a Kool-Aid effect. That's where a little poison was slipped into the Kool-Aid and you had no idea. So this video is about exposing the guru cult world that exists in our internet marketing community, but then also how you can still drink the Kool-Aid but filter out the poison, the bad stuff, before you do. So you'll get the good stuff out of the courses and not suffer from the negative side effects. You definitely shouldn't walk away from this video in fear and angst about taking courses, but rather a profound sense of confidence that no matter what you study, you're able to filter between what works and what creates results and what's just marketing hype or stuff that you should ignore because it won't work for you. Before we dive into this guru cult world, I want you to look at your life and why you're here while watching this video. We're at the end of this series, and yet here you are completing the course. Why did you invest your time until now? Well, I think it might be because you've been on the product buying treadmill that the gurus put you on, and this video series has shown you how to get off that treadmill. And I also think at this point you already feel your personal power returning. For a long while you've probably been going through life, as I had, with a lost sense of self-trust and passion. And from our short time together, I hope you're starting to get your wits about you again. I think you've been yearning for new things in your life, like better relationships with your family, a stable business, a better house with a nice car, but so far the results aren't showing up. And you're here not to learn more of what doesn't work, but for a radical shift on the fundamentals that determine results. It's almost like you've been sleeping, shuffling in line with all the other fed up Freddies following the words of the guru cult leaders. With all these internet marketing courses preaching financial freedom, isn't it funny how we end up in almost zombie-like trance where we feel like we have no control over our life? Why is that? Why is it something that promises to make our life better really ends up robbing us of the ability to do so? Well, in this video, we're going to take a look at the unexpected, unintended, and unwanted after effects of taking too many information courses. To bring some light on the subject of gurus and cult leaders, let me just talk for a moment on the similarities. A cult leader is someone who gathers a huge mass of people to listen to him. Gurus like to get big email lists of people who listen. The word cult means a group of people, beliefs, or practices that are quite strange. The cult leader is the one who makes up those strange beliefs. Many gurus teach that positive way of thinking and the law of attraction belief system, which is quite strange since it doesn't work as they say it does. Cult leaders use mind control techniques to influence their followers. Gurus use slick marketing techniques that trick the brain so people buy their product, like the Zeigarnik effect. The message of the cult leader is self-serving. How many gurus will say almost anything to get you to buy now? In fact, if you look at all the courses that you bought, how many of them actually lived up to the promises? Now, I'm not saying that all gurus are bad, but wouldn't it be fair to say that there's a lot of people out there teaching things that don't work for self-serving purposes? And they are using mind control techniques to get you to buy their stuff, even though it only helps to line their pockets and not yours. Well, if that's the case, then we need to make sure the people you do learn from are genuinely good teachers, and your life is going to benefit from buying their material, rather than just making your wallet lighter. After this video, you'll be able to discern between gurus who are legitimately selling you something that works and will help you versus the guy who's just trying to get you to do what he says and buy his stuff, like a cult leader. You'll also have an enhanced level of self-power and walk away from this with a much stronger and clearer grasp on how to create real and lasting changes for the better in your life. So first up, how most gurus' marketing messages are designed to make you a passive follower, i.e. a cult member. Well, the word passive is a deliberate one, and is profound in its implications. Since we learned how powerful our views are in the last video, and how views shape our actions, let's look at the word passive. Passive by definition means to be hands-off, inactive, and lacking in energy or willpower. And yet the gurus literally design their marketing messages such that you become a passive participant. If you take any high-level copywriting course, they literally tell you to do your client's thinking for them. You actually use words and images such that the observer just has to be there for the message to have its effect. In fact, gurus will literally use words like passive income and self-generating profits. All of these are geared to someone who isn't actively thinking. In fact, whenever you go through a product launch in the future, watch how they use the first part of the launch to put you in a state of suspended disbelief. And once they get you in this state of just being open, they fill it with messages designed to get you to buy their course. Notice how they do all the heavy thinking for you. But it doesn't stop there. Then a guru product launch actually has a whole system designed to make you a passive follower and buyer. The start of the launch hits your mental triggers about curiosity and proof. This means the launch starts off with some bold, obscure statement like, "Blind man makes it rich using this internet marketing system." And then they follow it up with some screenshots of the income made. So the launch hooks you first with curiosity because you're going, wow, how did a blind man make all this money online? And then they back up that statement with proof like screenshots of earnings, which further amplifies your mental trigger for curiosity. Then they start hitting other mental triggers that put you in a passive state. Once they hooked you in with curiosity and proof, they start talking about their experience. And what this does is make them look like an authority. And it's only natural for people to listen to their authoritative leaders who've been trained since kids to do that. Once they establish themselves as an authority, they start to hit on the social proof elements. They start casually mentioning how many people are on their email list, how many blog comments they just got on the latest video, and so on and so on. This hits the social proof mental trigger in our brain, where we think that if there's a lot of people doing something, then we want to do it too because it must be important. And this is an extremely powerful mental trigger. So now we're in almost a complete zombie-like state. We think that there's this new system that's so easy even a blind man can do it, and the guru has all this background experience, so he must be good. He's also got a ton of people on his list, so this must be something huge and I can't miss out. And finally, as the launch comes to a close, they hit on one of the most primitive and yet powerful mental triggers: scarcity. We've had this since the caveman days. The less there is of something, the more we want it. It's the whole supply and demand law. But notice what the gurus will do at the end of each launch. They'll send you an email saying, "I've got 50,000 people on my list," and that the bonuses sell out after the first 500 sales. They say this because they want to create a sense of urgency to buy based on quantity limits. Then after the bonuses are gone, they shift the scarcity to the actual time the product will be on the market. They will either take it off the market or raise the price. So then they are going to tell you that you've only got a few days or a few hours before it's all gone. But I'll tell you right now, all of that is a system designed to get you to buy. There is no real reason, almost always, for them to have a quantity or a time limit on any information product. Now occasionally they do have good reasons, like if they're going to do the course with you or they're going to do coaching with it, but other than that there's really no scarcity. They are just creating artificial scarcity because they know that drives you to buy. All what I just shared with you are slick marketing tactics designed to get you to buy. And all of this has been happening automatically without you being directly aware of it. Or even if you were aware of some of it, you were still getting hit by some things you weren't aware of. And this is where you become negatively conditioned to feel overwhelmed and not do anything with what you learn. This is where the poison gets slipped into the Kool-Aid. This is where your life keeps staying the same or getting worse financially. These product launches are literally happening on a bi-weekly basis. So you've constantly been told you're missing the critical piece and then getting hit with all these specially designed marketing messages designed to turn you into a passive buyer. And if you don't buy, you end up feeling anxious about what you've missed out on. So how do we filter the poison out of the Kool-Aid here? How do we stop getting sucked into product launches that we don't need? And how do we stop feeling left out? We do this by getting clear on the views we picked up by going through these product launches. The first view we need to address is, my business is missing something if I don't have this latest course. This statement, if unquestioned, will lead to many courses being bought that weren't needed. The fact of the matter is, your business needs just two things to thrive online: traffic and conversions. So if we remove ourselves from that old view of, my business is missing something if I don't have this latest course, and replace it with, all my business needs to thrive online is traffic and conversions, everything else is just icing on the cake. The next view we get from this guru cult Kool-Aid effect is, I need what this guru has to succeed because he's done it and I haven't. This view comes from us not feeling special about ourselves. We somehow think that those who have made a successful business are more special than us and hence we are lacking in worth. But we know this view is something we picked up from GuruOverwhelm because at some point we never had this view. When we were born, we didn't have this view. It's just something that we picked up on our journey in this thing called life. So if we know that view is not a truth, it's just something that we made up, let's make up a new view of ourselves that lets us actually get results. Because a new view means that we can take new action consistent with that view and hence get new results. So instead of having the view, I need what this guru has to succeed because he's done it and I haven't, let's replace it with, all I need to do to succeed online is focus on getting traffic and increasing conversions. The last view we need to correct that we picked up from this guru cult Kool-Aid effect is, it's too good to be true and it won't actually work for me. And it's funny because the way the product launch is designed to suspend disbelief, this view doesn't end up stopping us from buying the product, just from putting what we learn into action. But again, that's because the gurus know how to hit mental triggers such that you aren't actively thinking during our launch. So let's become aware of this view that we've picked up in our dealings with GuruOverwhelm and replace it with one that empowers us. Instead of, it's too good to be true and it won't work for me, let's use, I make things happen and I am the creator of my life. And with that view in place, you'll naturally take actions that produce results consistent with that view. Because the old views that we had weren't working, and this video series is all about results, which means using views that let you get results. And since our view determines our actions, we need to be very aware from now on what views we have as we take actions. Anytime you're not getting what you want out of life, just stop for a second and think, what views am I having that are shaping my actions right now? In fact, this leads us right into the next topic of negative NLP. Now, if you haven't heard of NLP before, it stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And a lot of salespeople have a strong interest in this because NLP is a way to use language to effectively hypnotize and manipulate people. Now, for the record, manipulation is not a bad thing. You'd snap your fingers to get a child's attention, right? Well, that's manipulation. So don't get caught up in the morality there. Manipulation can be used for good or bad, and NLP is simply a tool of using words in a certain way that gets certain responses out of people. And the reason I bring it up is we've been using NLP in our self-talk and we haven't even been aware of it. And it was put there by the gurus as we've been going through product launches. Since this course isn't about NLP, all I want you to take away from this is that the gurus have been using language to manipulate you, and much of that manipulation has not been helping you. And so I'd like to address the most detrimental elements of NLP you've been exposed to so that you're no longer suffering from the guru cult Kool-Aid effect. This is just another filtration system so that you're not getting sick from all the bad stuff. So the first negative NLP you've been exposed to is again the word passive, and more specifically the term passive income. And man, is this thrown around a lot. You've probably heard this exact phrase, earn a massive passive income, or something to that effect, right? Well, let's look at how negative this is. First of all, the word passive, as we learned, is about being hands-off, lacking in energy. If you can make a passive income, then how would that passive thing work in other areas of your life? How about a passive relationship? How well would your spouse treat you if you were passive with them? And how about passive health? How in shape would you be if you just passively took care of yourself? The answer? Terrible. And yet for some reason, when the gurus say passive income, people just fall head over heels for the idea. Well, I invite you to have a new view on making money, one that doesn't leave you negatively affected by NLP. Because if you have the view you can make money passively, I can promise you're suffering in more areas than just your finances. So what is this new view? Well, I like to call it leveraged income. And leverage is very different than passive. Leverage means you're getting the most you can for the energy you put in. Let me illustrate the difference between passive and leveraged income with an example. Say you go to the park and there's a bunch of kids on the merry-go-round. So you go over to give it a push so the kids can have fun. Now just pretend that the spinning of the merry-go-round represents your income, and the faster it goes, the more money you make. So you start off pushing the merry-go-round, and after 20 seconds of sweating and grunting, you manage to get it going. So now you're walking forward pushing it, but it's getting a little easier to push because it's in motion now. So you're starting to walk faster as you push, and soon you're running and pushing. You reach a speed where it's going pretty fast, i.e. you're making a lot of money. And now you decide to go passive. Well, if you go passive, what happens? That means you go to the side and stop pushing. And what happens to the merry-go-round? Well, it stops in just a little bit, doesn't it? Now, what if you decided to use leverage instead? Well, if you wanted to use leverage, you'd stand by the side of the merry-go-round, and every few cycles you just sling your arm out and give it a boost. What would happen then? Well, it would keep spinning with a minimal input from you. And that's the difference between passive and leveraged income. Passive income is a negative NLP element. It makes you think illogically about how to do business and hence will hurt your results. But if you choose to think in terms of leveraged income, where you get the most money for the most efficient actions, then you'll be able to design a business that supports the lifestyle that you want. So from now on, don't listen to the negative NLP that the gurus love to use about passive income. You know better now, and you know it's all about creating leverage. The good news is that focusing on just traffic and conversions is leverage. Traffic can scale well, and conversions can scale well. Same time and energy input on a daily basis, but the results get bigger and bigger, or at least stays the same after it reaches a plateau. I know I sound like a broken record when I keep saying it's just about traffic and conversions, but I think you can see why now. In fact, my GuruOverwhelm Cure product will pretty much focus exclusively on how to design your life and business and on how to create leverage from them. The next negative NLP I'd like you to become aware of is whenever some slick guru is trying to convince you something is the easiest, fastest, and cheapest way to do something. In fact, this negative NLP really irks me because I've literally seen gurus promote back-to-back launches where both product launches literally say it's the easiest, fastest, and cheapest source of traffic. Well, let me ask you something. Do you really only want the things in life that are easy, fast, and cheap? We have something like that in society. It's called fast food. And what's the quality of fast food? And what effect is it having on our health? So let me ask you, are you really starting your business so that you can get the easiest, fastest, cheapest bit of money you can? Or are you creating a business to support a spectacular lifestyle that not only supports you, but also supports your family? Well, wait a second. How come you're not trying to have the cheapest, fastest, and easiest family experience? How come you'd rather be having deep, meaningful relationships with people? How come you'd rather have a life you're passionate about? How come you'd rather have big dreams that take more than 5 minutes to make happen? Because the easiest, fastest, and the cheapest things in life aren't what you're after. And I invite you to consider this. If it was the easiest, fastest, and cheapest thing for your business, then that also means everyone else has the same access to it that you do. That means competition will make it harder, delay your profits, and cost you more. So this creates a paradox, where the easier, faster, and cheaper it is also means the harder, longer, and more expensive it will become. But it sounds so nice when we don't do any thinking about it, right? And that's exactly how product launches are designed. They hit all your mental triggers, put you in a state of suspended disbelief. And then while you're in this non-active state, they brainwash you with their slick marketing messages that get you to buy. And in this process, you're left with a mental poison that's been hurting your business. They've been slipping poison into the Kool-Aid when you weren't even looking. But we're able to stop this negative effect by recognizing that we don't want things that are easy, fast, and cheap. We want things that work and let us create the life of our dreams. So the new way to look at this is you want what works, period. And for the record, there may be times where what works is also the fastest, easiest, and cheapest. But it usually won't last long, so don't focus on that aspect. Just focus on using strategies that work. And if you're concerned about whether or not something works, then you'll no longer be sucked in by the easy button sales approach. And it's at this time I like to share with you my newest course, the GuruOverwhelm Cure. It should be very clear now that there's 4 parts to GuruOverwhelm, and that you've been negatively suffering from it. You've been living a life barely lived. You've been achieving little to no results. You've lost passion and you are struggling to find your sense of self. But by going through these examples with me in these videos, you've been able to clear up some of the fundamental misunderstandings that you've picked up from all these Guru product launches. In fact, you should be feeling a lot more excited and passionate from the distinctions that you've picked up from this video series. If not, please have someone check your pulse. And I'm so excited for you to use the tools that you've picked up already to transform your life. And I'm even more excited to offer you something to help you take your life to a whole new level, which is why I am calling this product the GuruOverwhelm Cure. In this course, you'll get the procrastination solution method. This will teach you how to stop procrastinating so you can finally generate traffic of 100 hits a day and then 500 hits a day within 90 days. The declutter system. This little system will get your online business on track and eliminate everything that is getting in your way for good. The truth document. An uncut version of how to really make money online. The delegation master. How to use the power of delegation to have your online business running like a well-oiled machine. Kill procrastination for good. Procrastination is a massive killer and a dangerous trap the gurus have set for you. You'll learn how to get rid of it forever and guard yourself from ever falling into that trap again. Advanced productivity secrets. You need these if you want to get real-world results in both your business and your life. But this course is so much more than just how to focus and become productive. This is about getting you the results that you deserve. We are in the internet marketing world, and let's face it, you want to know how you can make internet marketing work for you and actually put money in your bank account. Well, as you know, we have been talking a lot about the core fundamentals, which are traffic and conversions. The GuruOverwhelm Cure also comes with over 40 videos that will teach you everything you will ever need to know about internet marketing. There's no fluff here, my friend. This is just pure gold. You already know that all you need to worry about is the core fundamentals. But I know you're probably saying, well, it's all well and good to sit there and say all you need is traffic and conversions, but how am I supposed to get these things? Well, don't worry, because I've got you covered there too. You will learn things like how to generate highly targeted traffic to your websites and your offers, what traffic sources are the absolute best and what sources are just wasting your time, how to write killer sales copy that will skyrocket your conversions, how to get a boatload of free traffic. I also reveal some of the little known paid sources of traffic that I've been quietly using for years that have made me a small fortune. I teach you step by step the most successful business models. That means what you need to do to put more money in your pocket. So you want to sell big expensive $2,000 products? Well, guess what? I show you how you can easily do that and your customers will absolutely love you for it. Want to know how to do these big six-figure product launches? Yep, I teach you how you can do that too, all in easy step-by-step video fashion. Yes, success in internet marketing boils down to traffic and conversions, but let's be honest, you still need to know the bits in between, like how to actually set up your own website, how to create your own product or promote someone else's product, how to build a big list that you keep hearing all these gurus talk about. So don't worry if you are a complete newbie, we cover all the basic getting started stuff too. The fact is that I've been fortunate enough to make this internet marketing thing work for me, and I know how difficult it can be. And the truth is, the odds are stacked against you because of all the reasons that we've talked about in this video series. So my goal was to help you have a clearer and deeper understanding of what really goes on in the IM world so that you can go out there and have a better chance of being successful. But I also wanted to take it one step further. I mean, it's very easy for me to sit here and tell you how bad the gurus are and expose all their manipulation techniques and tell you what not to do. But I'm sure that you do want to become successful, which is why I created such an extensive course that breaks things down, gets rid of that overwhelm, and tells you in simple step-by-step fashion how you can make money online. And let me prove how well this works. GuruOverwhelm is extremely common in our little community. I've been coaching students for years now, and it is the single biggest problem new students are struggling with when they come to me for my help. Dave, a student of mine from Canada, had been trying for years to get this IM thing to work for him, and just like so many others out there, he had spent a small fortune on all these guru product launches and had nothing to show for it. In fact, he actually had to move back into his parents' place because he simply didn't have enough money to survive on his own. It's scary how crippling and devastating the effect these gurus can have. So he came to me pleading for help. Luckily for him, I knew how to help him. He had been suffering from all the guru overwhelm problems we have been discussing in this video series, and I was able to help him get clear and get his mind on the right track, and then teach him how the core fundamentals were all that he really needed to succeed online. Well, I'm happy to report that Dave is now one of my most successful students and now has his own online business which is producing a phenomenal income for him. Another student of mine, Brian, he had been online for 7 years and he had bought all the courses from all the big name gurus. He had been to all the events and done all the personal coaching, and amazingly enough, he still had nothing to show for it. Well, it's not that amazing now that you know the reasons why, but to keep at it for 7 years is pretty impressive nonetheless. After I taught Brian everything in this GuruOverwhelm course, he was able to finally get off that vicious money-sucking product buying treadmill and focus on his own business. He has since built a very successful website in the internet marketing niche and no longer works at his job. The point I am trying to make here, and the reason I am sharing these stories with you, is because these people were just like you. They had been sucked in by all the guru hype that goes on in the internet marketing community, and they had lost a lot of money buying product after product, but most importantly, they were not getting any results. As I hope you have noticed, the things I have shared with you in this video series are not the things the gurus would ever share with you. Why? Well, simply because they wouldn't be able to sell anything if they did. You can succeed in internet marketing. Unfortunately, there are a lot of shady people that will put up a lot of obstacles, but you can get past them and succeed if you know how. And let me honestly tell you, the life of a successful internet marketer is truly an amazing one. To have the freedom that the internet gives is absolutely amazing. I can't think of any other job in the world where I can work my own hours, work from home, make more money than most people will make in their entire lifetimes, and literally be able to work anywhere in the world. All I need is a laptop and an internet connection. I want to help you get through that dark cloud that is GuruOverwhelm and get you to the rainbow on the other side. And that's why I want to be clear on how this course is different. Let me ask you, have you ever been so excited about a product that promised to solve all of your money worries and you bought it expecting it to work? And then it didn't work and you were totally disappointed that it didn't solve any of your problems at all? Well, I know I have, many times. So I invite you to consider something new about my GuruOverwhelm cure. What if I'm not promising you that this is the be-all and end-all solution to all of your money problems? And what if you're not going to go through this course expecting to make $72,000 in 48 hours like all the other courses are promising? What if you go through this course with the expectation that you're going to work consistently with a new perspective on life, such that after 6 months you're going to be making a steady $5,000 a month income? Now, I know that's not as sexy as some of the other gurus promise out there, but honestly, how well has that worked? What makes this Guru Overwhelm Cure unique is I designed this to be a system that works in real life, based on my experience of what's worked and what hasn't. It's not just a bunch of theory with made up numbers and how because Jim, who made $564,000 in 30 days, you can too. No, this is strictly about a system you can follow, a fundamental rooting of all your views on business to ones that work for you. As you know, I've done a $600,000 launch, and I earn a consistent $30,000 a month. So what I'm going to teach you is based on the success that I've had and what's worked for me, period. This is my 5th year in the business, and I've got a solid grasp of what it takes to succeed, and it's not just a bunch of hype or theory. And what I think you'll find exciting about this opportunity is that you don't need to feel like an idiot about the stuff that you've bought before. This course will give you the tools to utilize the other material that you've gotten, but you'll be using it with the right foundational knowledge of how it fits into your business, and you'll stop looking at everything as the be-all, end-all solution. And believe me, I've been in that phase where I get a new idea every 10 minutes, and I'm always opening the emails that the gurus send looking for the newest trick to get my new idea to work. And as a result, I've also experienced the getting nowhere blues and seriously considered quitting. It's scary that you can work so hard and get no results. And I know how horrible that feels, but luckily I've figured out what works, and now I'll be passing that on to you in this course. And it's a fact when you know what works and you do that consistently, remember, leveraged income, your business will grow consistently. Now, the next question is the cost. And I think there's 2 costs to this, your money and your time. And when you're just starting out, I know how expensive things get. I know because I had to spend over $10,000 in courses before making any profit. And I've bought them all, Product Launch Formula, Mass Control, Traffic Secrets, all the big name stuff. I've literally spent thousands and thousands of dollars on just course material. And I've been developing this Guru Overwhelm Cure for over a year, as I've invested another $25,000 to bring this into full development for you. I thoroughly expect your business to be transformed from having gone through this video series already, and I can't wait to see how it's going to explode when you've learned all I've got to teach you about really making an online living without all the hype. And not only that, I pay another $2,000 a month for a team of people to be consistently researching the market to really tap into the needs, problems, and struggles that people have. I'm dead serious about what I deliver, and I trust you can tell this is not a rehash. And I hope this video series has already given you back a lot of your personal power, and you're starting to feel excited about doing business online again. And do you remember that huge surprise that I promised? Well, remember that $600,000 launch that I done? Well, that was a course called Internet Marketing Uncut, and it sold for $2,000. I'm going to be including this with your Guru Overwhelm Cure, because all the things that held true back in 2008 when I originally launched it are still true today. And since everyone who bought it has had 2 years to put it into action, as you've seen from the many success stories from my students, I think that it's more than fair that I make this available to you now. And since I truly am committed to making sure that this is absolutely available to you no matter what your financial situation, I'm making the Guru Overwhelm Cure and my $2,000 Internet Marketing Uncut course available for just $297. I hope you're not disappointed that I'm not charging $19.97. And with this course, my promise is this. Apply its principles consistently over 6 months and you will be making a consistent $5,000 a month income. That's a promise that I'm putting my money where my mouth is. If you aren't making $5,000 a month and you've applied everything consistently, then I'll not only refund your money, but I'll double it. But notice I'm not saying you make $5,000 a month in a weekend or in the next 30 days. I'm saying it's 6 months. It's not sexy, but damn does it work. And since I know this is going to utterly rock your world, I will personally guarantee this course will revolutionize your business, and if for any reason you're not happy within 30 days, you can get a full refund. I also really want you to experience the full shift of power so you're not at the guru's whims, because I know if you don't get this, then nothing's going to change. Next week, you're going to open up your email again and you're going to be pulled into the next miracle quick fix guru launch. And that's the pisser. I mean, these gurus use NLP and mind control techniques basically to make sure that you don't buy anything that's real or anything that doesn't promise overnight riches. But I guess my competitive advantage is that my principles actually work, while theirs are designed to trap people. And I can say that because I practice what I preach, and I've tried many things that didn't work as promised. And I know that I don't have a $20 million company, but I think $30,000 a month is pretty decent. And I know this course has what it takes to get you to at least $5,000 a month in 6 months. That's no problem as long as you follow through. Which actually brings up a good point. Can you actually do this? Well, to answer that, allow me to defer back to the training that I've touched on in this video series. That's simply a view that's gotten worse from broken guru promises. In fact, the lower your self-confidence, the easier it is to sell you on the next big solution launch. So if you're timid about whether you can actually do this, then take on this view. It doesn't take a rocket scientist PhD to make money online. All we're doing is systematically getting traffic and converting it, connecting people who want stuff with the stuff that they want.